these are some of the questions that I am hoping of course, you'll be able to address. We'll be able to address in the course of the session today as you listen to our speaker. So please get your pen, get your paper so that you can jot things down. And then you can save everyone's time and yours as well as you go on. So if you have any questions later on, we will be able to address that. So going back to our speaker. So I'm going to bring on Daniel. That will be our first speaker today. Daniel is an education consultant, very experienced in studying in any of the Western nations. So she's going to be sharing with us about studying in Canada, and she's going to touch on one or two other things. That will be it. So I'm going to
screen here. Okay. Hi everyone, thanks for coming here. So I'm Daniel here. Thanks for coming to Aero Education webinar today, and we're going to share how to study in Canada. So basically, introduction to Canada first, just a simple one, just like you to see this is a map of Canada, which is pretty big. So most of the locations are very popular among international students, but most of them, they would like to go to Ontario number 8, or also British Columbia number 4. But there's one thing to think about it is, due to the living costs here on these two big provinces will be higher compared to the other area. The most popular one will be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because these locations are very affordable, and you can actually looking forward for their Atlantic PR migration program as well. So the capital of Canada is Ottawa, Ontario. Normally they will use English, but there is some location like in Ottawa or Nova Scotia, Quebec, they will use French as well. So basically you enjoy different kind of season, which is 4 seasons, summer, winter, fall, autumn. What is the benefit? Yeah, we're talking about world-class education in Western country, which is very affordable now studying in Canada because of their currency are quite stable compared to the others, which is not so fluctuation as is so high. So we have also comparison table here compared to different countries. According to the current situation, for studying in Canada, it's very affordable. 16,000 is actually average, but a minimum costing to study in Canada is roughly about Canada dollar 10,000 minimum, or up to 20,000. It depends on what kind of program that you're studying. Cost of living now, what you spend depends on different provinces as well. It's range from 12,000 to 20,000, depends on which area you're going to. For example, if you go to Ontario or British Columbia, roughly in between 15,000 plus. If you're going to Atlantic area, roughly is less than 10,000 a year. If you're going to US, UK, definitely you have to prepare much more fundings in order to show for the visa application and also for your own living costs and tuition fee as well. Canada is a very safe place to live, so there is no doubt that it's very different from US as well. Yeah, so for US, of course, some location you need to be careful, some locations are safe as well. But Canada overall is a very peaceful, safest country in the world. Most of the Canadian, okay, they feel very safe, even though it's a multi-diversity environment here, because they're actually promoting talent to go to study there, to work there, to migrate there. Yeah. So 1 out of 5 Canadians are foreign born. Yeah, or some of them, they're actually married foreigners as well. So there are nearly 200 languages are spoken in the country. So enjoy different cultural activities, historical buildings that you can enjoy there. And we actually summarize a summary of benefits studying in Canada. You can actually work part-time job during your study. And you can also do full-time job during your school holiday, which is up to 40 hours per week. Part-time job is up to 20 hours per week. And you're eligible for postgrad work permit up to 3 years after your graduation. And IELTS are waived for some passport holders. And of course, staggered payment, which means that you does not need to pay a lot of money before you apply for your visa. And you could also bring your common law partner or spouse, and your spouse can eligible for open working permit if you are studying a master or PhD in Canada. And you will get free education for your kids up to 18 years old for 2 kids. And there's no age limit to apply to Canada. Remember, there's no age limit, okay? And you can also have a very lenient way to apply to PR applications with minimum 5 years stay in Canada only, okay? But some of the people, if you're a mature student, you're studying master You study postgrad diploma. Yeah, if you have working experience already as a mature student, you'll be able to employed, by the employer or appointed by the employer as a PR as well. So deposit fee is ranged from different universities and colleges. So you have to choose the universities or colleges that are under DLI so that you'll be able to apply for the study permit and postgrad work permit. And of course, we're looking at flexible study options. If you're studying a degree or diploma or higher national diploma, which is equivalent to UK system, which is in Africa, you can actually also transfer your credit to the bachelor degree in Canada. Okay, so we just need to get your academic transcript to submit to Arrow Education, and we'll be able to match the options for you based on your budget, based on your result, based on your preferred location, etc. Study visa and permit we will be handling as well. After you get the offer letter and you pay the deposit, accept the offer, we will be proceeding the student visa for you as well. But remember, we will give you a list of the visa documents that you need to prepare. So looking at the scholarships or the tuition fees in Canada, we're looking at international business universities. Most of the students, they like to study B-commerce, but of course, not ordinary B-commerce. We also have tech management, sales and marketing management, international management and technology. The degree is only cost you 17,000 Canadian dollar per year before any scholarships are available for you based on the results on the offer letter. And the master program is only having 16 months program, and it's only costs you 17,000 a year as well. And you can actually specialize in technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship, financial management, or global business management. And it only costs you 2 days a week for the class, which is very flexible for you. And the rest of the time, you can actually work. So I consider like half work, half study in Canada. Next, we're looking at tuition fee as well. We actually have average of tuition fee to let you know here. For degree program or any college diploma program will cost you minimum 10,000 a year. And for MBA program or master program, it costs you minimum 7,000 a year. So this is only the minimum fee, but any range of the price range, any price range which is higher than this, it depends on the major that you prefer. Living costs will be roughly between 8,000 to 10,000 a year at Atlantic area. But if you're going into Ontario or British Columbia, you're looking at 15,000 a year. We have a lot of financial assistance as well. Merit-based scholarship, need-based bursary, student loans as well. So we're looking at scholarship now, comparing into a UK currency. If you're looking at UC or Dundee, which is a gross tuition fee £20,000 a year, but they're actually giving you 5,000 per year of scholarship, which is once you meet the requirement for the program requirements, 20,000 is your tuition fee, and you will get 5,000 a year as a scholarship, and you just need to pay £15,000 a year. If you're going to Teesside, okay, their degree program is 17,000 a year, which you can get Africa students passport with a 2,000 scholarship. You only need to pay £15,000 a year. For master program, it's very affordable because it's only 8,500 a year. So for Coventry, they have May intake now, and it's actually running a scholarship here, which is 5,000 scholarship for your master or undergrad program. They have 2 locations, one in Coventry, one is London. So 15,000 a year as a tuition fee. If you deduct 5,000, you just need to pay 10,000. And the master program is only 12,000 a year. Depends on different major, yeah? So this is one of the majors. Minimum is only 12,000 a year. If you deduct 5,000, you just need to pay 8,000 a year. Okay, sorry, 8,000, roughly about 7,000, 8,000 a year. So the deadline to accept the offer is 8th of April to 15th of April. But you just need to convert on the currency side. Pounds is still higher than Canadian dollar, okay? But if you could afford to go to UK, then of course it's good, yeah. So looking at Canada dollar now, Canada dollar is only costing you $18,000 a year for Cape Breton University, which is located in Nova Scotia. Very good location because they have a very good Atlantic PR migration program. Okay, so either you can be nominated by the employer as a PR within 5 years, or after 5 years, you can try to apply for a PR after your 2 years program of studies for master, and then you get 3 years working permit, then you try to apply for the PR. You have entrance scholarship, which is up to yearly amount 7,500 and up to 30,000 for the whole year cost. Okay, which is if you're going for degree, you get 30,000 in total. If you go for master, you get less than a few thousand. I mean, 18,000. Overall, post-baccalaureate program or degree program all cost you only 18,000 in Capricorn. So if you get 7,000 scholarship, your result is very good. You just need to pay 11,000 Canadian dollar a year as a tuition fee, which is pretty much very affordable for you. Okay. Trent University is located in Ontario, but it's not located in Toronto. So this location is still quite affordable in terms of living costs because they also give you a very good entrance scholarship plus merit scholarship. You just need to hit for your high school requirement, which is equivalent to Canada high school, 80%. So for any other country, roughly between 85 to 88% for your high school results. So you can actually get up to 34,000 a year for the scholarship. And their tuition fee is only costing you 26,000, which means that if you get the highest amount, you will be having some extra money for your living costs as well. And also plus the entrance scholarship that they're given to you. If you got 80 to 85% of your high school results, then you will get 1,000 to 1,500, okay, which is much more affordable as well. Lakehead University very affordable as well because they have scholarship up to 40,000 for 4 years, which is 10,000 a year. Okay, so if your result is very good in your high school, then try to apply for this year's September intake, which you can get a very good scholarships. It will be given in your offer letter. No scholarship applications are required. Even though postgrad, you just need to pay the tuition fee, for example, is only 15,000 a year, and the degree is only 25,000 a year. If you get the scholarship 10,000 a year, which is you just need to pay 15,000 a year for your degree per year. If you're going into the master program, $15,000 a year, and you get a 10,000 a year scholarship at master level, then you just need to pay 5,000 a year for the master program. But remember, master program required at least 80 to 85% from your degree results. So looking at working eligibility, so just like I mentioned, you can work 20 hours a week on campus or off campus. So comparison to US, the first year you can only work on campus. But in Canada, regardless your first year or second year, you can work for 20 hours per week on campus or off campus. And you could also work for internship or full-time job during your semester break up to 30 hours plus per week. Postgrad working permit very attractive because any 1 year program, you get 1 year working permit. Any 2 years program, you can get up to 3 years working permit. And please note that the new rules now from the government, you must study in a public college and not a private college, okay? So these are the list that is listed here as PGWP eligible program, which we call Designated Learning Institution listing. So pathway to PR residency, remember that is very important because everyone are welcome to go to Canada. Yeah, so just make sure that you have the funding that I mentioned just now, tuition fee plus your living costs per year to show for your past 4 months bank statements, and you will be able to get the visa approved. And after you study, you will be able to go for the PR application as well. Who are partners to go? We have actually over 1,005 universities, colleges, as mentioned by Baudette like just now. So we have many universities and colleges that could actually suit your budget, okay, and suit your results as well. Just let us know what do you want, okay? And of course, we have Alberta area, just cost you about 11,000 a year. We have Manitoba area, cost you about 11,000 a year. New Brunswick area cost you about 9,000 a year. Newfoundland, which is very good location, cost you only 8,000 a year. Nova Scotia, the best location because they have the best PR migration policy as well. And Prince Edward Island, the first island in Canada, it costs you only 7,000 a year for a diploma. early childhood, which is quite popular as well for most of the students, and only costs you about 6,000 a year. So it depends on which locations that you go. Ontario tuition fee will be slightly higher, about 12,000 a year. British Columbia as well. So basically what we do here is we will need to get to know what is your highest qualification, what is your budget from your parents, or if you're a mature student, how much funds that you have, or are you aiming for migration or working overseas, we'll be able to match for you as well. Any kind of program majors, scholarships, based on your budget, and we will get the visa approved and we will send you to Canada. Okay?
I'm just going to quickly take Gideon now. Gideon, so what I'm going to do to make this quick and easy for all of us is I'm just going to ask a few questions from Gideon, and he's going to answer, so you can take whatever information you need from his answers. So let me start, Gideon. Where are you studying? I mean, which province are you studying? What course are you studying? And why did you go for Canada? Just briefly.
Right now I'm studying in a town called Red Deer in Alberta, and I'm studying in Red Deer Polytechnic. So I'm studying network administration right now. And to answer your second question, why did I choose Canada? I feel like Canada has the most advantages in terms of price, in terms of safety, just like Daniela said before me. And the course I'm taking right now wasn't the initial course I was taking before. I registered for software development, but in the first term, I found that it was kind of not difficult per se, but it took a lot for me to grasp it. And at the same time, I had friends in network administration course, which they will talk about like topics together and everything. And then I realized that, okay, this course actually suits me better. So I was fortunate enough to still be in the first term. So I was able to opt out of the software development program and register for the network administration program, and it was for the same fee, it was the same scheduling and everything. So it just worked out perfectly for me. So yeah.
And was it easy to switch?
Relatively easy, yeah. I just had to email the department and they processed my transfer.
Okay. So can you share with us about the application process, the visa process before you moved from Nigeria to Canada? How was that?
So the application process, I have to admit that Arrows Education made it very seamless, very smooth, very easy for me. The only things I actually needed to do, I just had to provide the required documents to them, and they helped me. And the only thing I had to do physically was go register my biometrics and take my medical tests. And then Arrows Education helped me submit them to the visa application, and everything just worked out very smoothly.
Thank you very much. So let's say after you got to Canada, what were the, what were the major challenges you faced to adjust to life in Canada as a Nigerian student coming from home fresh? So what were the major challenges and how did you overcome them?
For me, it wasn't the only real challenge, and I wouldn't really call it a challenge. It was just kind of something that didn't make it very comfortable. It's just the weather. So I came in the spring, so that's just like immediately after winter. I came in May, so it was still relatively cold. Not as cold as it is now, of course, but for somebody coming like fresh off the plane from Nigeria, where it's always hot, you can imagine how I felt like in that type of temperature. So it wasn't, yes, I came prepared with like my jacket and everything, but still the weather was still kind of chilly for me. And I didn't have a car. I don't still have a car yet, hopefully by the end of the year. But I had to take the bus and then walk sometimes from school to home and to work and to the bus stops and everywhere. So the weather was would be the main challenge for me. And also my housing. So when I first came, I already registered for school housing, for campus housing. But after the first 4 months, I was supposed to pay another application fee to stay in the housing, and it was another $150. So I felt like that was a little bit too much, because even if I paid the money, I wasn't guaranteed to stay in the same house that I was given on campus. They could move me to another place on campus. So I just decided to opt out and look for a place off campus. So I stayed in like there's something called room for rent here. So you can stay in people's basements, and the basement is like it can have a separate door from the main door of the house. So if you're going into your room, you don't have to see your landlord. You just have to go into your room. There's a kitchen in the basement too, bathroom too, and everything. And then most times you share it with other tenants in the basement. So I stayed in that type of place up until this February. That's when I managed to get an apartment with a friend of mine, and that's where I'm staying right now. So to answer your question, just the major challenges were just housing and the weather, but it's something that you can deal with.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take you up on the basement housing and the apartment now. What are the price ranges for the two? For the two, I want to assume that you took the basement because it was affordable, at least relatively affordable for a start. So what's
Mm.
the idea of price for both basement and
So
apartment?
so for the basement housing, that's the room for rent. The price varies. For my first one, because I stayed in two people's basements before I moved into my apartment. For the first one, it was 550 Canadian dollars per month. And then I also had to pay extra $25 for
Utilities.
cleaning. No, not utilities. Utilities is already included in the rent. So Wi-Fi,
Oh, okay.
water,
Okay.
electricity is already in the rent. But then I had to pay an extra $25 for cleaning. So he had a woman coming to clean the house every month. So in total, that's just $575 per month. And then when I moved into the second place, it was so the prices have gone up since that time. I think I moved into the first place in August, but the prices have gone up. So when I moved into the second place in around September or October, I was paying 750 Canadian, no, 700 Canadian dollars. Yeah, 700 Canadian dollars. And but for the apartments, it's more expensive, especially if you're renting by yourself, like one bedroom. One bedroom is like it ranges between 1,000 and 2,000, depending on the province, depending on the company that's renting the apartment to you. It varies. For a two-bedroom, if it's I would say 1,000 to 3,000 for two-bedroom, and I'm not too sure about three-bedroom. But the one I'm staying in now is a two-bedroom, and the total is 1,450. But water is included, heating is included. So the only thing we have to pay for separately is Wi-Fi and electricity. And if you manage
And
the
two of you are
electricity,
sharing. Right.
yes, we're sharing. So individually, I'm paying 725 Canadian dollars per month. And then if you include electricity and uh internet, it should just come up to maximum 800 per month. If you
Okay.
can manage your electricity properly, just turn off the lights when you're going out. Don't leave lights on anyhow, and then you'll be good. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just a little word about homesickness. Nigerian food. Did you miss Nigerian food? Did you feel homesick?
I didn't feel homesick in a sense, so because me, I'm not somebody to get very attached to family members too, or even friends. Like even I can go I'll go for months without texting my friends, and they'll be like, Gideon, what's going on? Are you okay? You have not talked to me. I'll be like, everything is okay. I just like to stay on my own. But in terms of Nigerian food, I missed it very much. When I went to visit, because my mom and my siblings are in Fort McMurray, that's another town in Alberta. So when I went to visit them for New Year's, it was a very good experience. So just because of the food, yes, I enjoyed seeing my family and everything, but that food there, you can understand.
It was more important. Okay,
Uh,
thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk about jobs as a student. Have you worked? Are you working now? What kind of jobs do you get, and how much does it pay? What are the opportunities available for international students and especially Nigerian students or African students?
so right now I'm working in Walmart. So for those people that don't know what Walmart is, it's like a global superstore, like supermarkets in Nigeria, but it has branches like all over the world. So right now I'm working there as a customer service associate. So I do mainly returns and I answer people's questions concerning products and stuff like that. But at the same time, I also work in cashier and also in self-checkout. So I would say job opportunities here, it's there are opportunities, yes, but I feel like the way people say it in Nigeria, it's just like magic. If you come here, like I know the situation of the country in Nigeria that are about job opportunities and everything. And yes, it is better over here, but it's not just you don't just come and get the job instantly. You have to prove to them that you are qualified for the post, whatever post that you choose to go for. And I would recommend that people reduce their expectations in terms of jobs when they're coming here, because when people are coming, they tend to have this mindset that, oh, okay, I'm coming to Canada, there are job opportunities. I will come here uh with my what they call the bachelor's degree and I'll get a job instantly. I know some people that have PhDs from Nigeria and they are working in like shops in Canada. So just bring down your expectations a little bit. Don't get ahead of yourself. Be ready to do and be ready to put your pride aside to do jobs that will be able to put food on the table, because there are some people that they are still having to like resort to family members in Nigeria sending them money just because they don't want to bring themselves to that extent of working in a supermarket or a store or something like that. So yes, but there are opportunities, yes. If you can manage to get an interview in a good company with your qualifications from Nigeria, I have friends like that their husbands are working in good companies with qualifications from Nigeria. So if you can manage to get that interview is the first step into getting that company. When you get the interview, just make sure that you prove to them that you are qualified, you are competent enough to be able to secure that position. Because in many companies, as I've heard from many of my colleagues, people respect Nigerians because we have made a name for ourselves in companies. Like when we step into a company and we tell them that we're Nigerians, they that name Nigerian also it carries a lot of water, if you know what I mean, because we're always like at the top of our game in terms of business. So when they hear that you're a Nigerian and you're able to get into that interview, just prove to them that okay, you're one of the Nigerians, that you're actually competent enough to make a name for yourself in the company and make the company's name greater. So if you can manage to get that opportunity, I would advise that you really make the most of it and you don't fumble the bag, as we will say.
Yeah, so I want you to clarify something. When you were talking about your accommodation, I could pick, okay, especially for now, your rent and utilities, everything together is going into about 800 Canadian dollars. How much do students get paid, especially undergraduate students? How much do you get paid? And is that enough to fund tuition or living expenses together, or just part of it and all that? Can you please address that? And how many hours are you allowed to work?
So Initially, you're only allowed to work 20 hours as an international student on or off campus, um, at any job that you get. But at the beginning of this year, or I think December of last year, they had a new policy that international students can work more than 20 hours now, up until I think 31st of April. So by 31st of April, they'll address whether they want to keep that policy or they want to go back to the 20 hours per week policy. But for now, you're allowed to work as many hours as you want. You just have to make sure that you focus on why you came to the country, make sure that you're doing well in school and stuff like that. But the jobs that you get, like minimum wage in Canada is $15. So you shouldn't, you wouldn't get paid less than that. So if you're working, let's say 20 hours in a week, even if it's just 20 hours in a week, 15 hours times 20 hours, that is approximately like 1,200 in a month if you're working 20 hours in a week. So 1,200, take away that 800 for what's it called? For the rent.
You still have
If you're
something.
that you still have something left. Food, you shouldn't be spending more than 200 on food if you're managing your money, and then the rest can go into savings. So it's very
Tuition is also there. You have to pay tuition.
tuition, yeah, tuition is also there, yes. But if you're that's I'm just saying that's for the bare minimum now. That's the bare minimum. So you can imagine if you're working somewhere that is now paying 17, 18, and then you're not getting like 40 hours in a week. So if you can manage the money, you'll be okay. You'll be good to go.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So obviously it's possible to cover your living expenses and probably cover a little bit of your tuition. And if you get a very good job, say like $20 per hour, then you can cover your tuition. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about, are there any diaspora groups or Nigerian student groups or campus or within the town? Are you part of anyone?
Yeah, so there is a Nigerian Red Deer group. That's for the whole town of Red Deer. And then they'll add you to a WhatsApp group when you come in. For students, it's free. But for adults, for students and children, it's free. But for adults, you have to pay a certain fee. I can't remember how much it was the last time. But they'll add you to the group, and then anything you need, just text it into the group. If you need transport from this place to this place, there are people that do taxi services, so you don't have to use like Uber or the
Okay.
Alberta taxi that is here, because those ones are relatively expensive. And then there's also the Nigerian Association. There's a Black Student Association that just opened up last month in Red Deer Polytechnic. So
Okay.
they have events every other month. Black History Month just passed, so they had a few events, like 4 events at school, very fun events. So and that's also an opportunity for you to link up with other Nigerians and Africans alike, and rub minds and make friends, ask for help, make connections and everything. So yeah, there are many of communities to help you out when you get here.
Okay, thank you very much. I have just 2 more questions. This one, I would like you to address it as much as you can. What were the few things that you wish you knew or you wish you had before you left Nigeria? I mean, as in on getting to Canada, you felt like, oh, if only I knew this before, I could have maybe prepared better, or if only I knew I could have done this before coming over. What are those things?
Mm,
Maybe a few of those things.
I don't mean to brag or anything, but I would say I prepared fairly adequately to come to Canada, because when I came, I didn't really have, like I said before, the only problem and it's not even really a problem, was just the weather. Every other thing was like, I can say I'm one of the lucky ones that I was still able to find a job quickly, so I was able to like pay my rent and everything and sort everything by myself. But I feel like I I prepared adequately. The only regret I would say I had was not learning not learning a skill. Now, learning a skill before you come here, it can be the difference maker for you. Like, let's say you have a job that's paying just $15 dollars per hour, and you're not getting that much hours at work. Having a skill like to help you start up like a side hustle or something can be very, very influential in the sense that you can be able to meet up with your bills and everything. Like me now, when like if the year or 2 years before I came here, I was working in my dad's company, and I didn't really think to learn a skill. The only skill that I learned, and this was just because I wanted to do it from even when I was younger, was I just learned how to play guitar. If some people even refer to that as a skill. But yeah, I learned how to play guitar before I came here. And it's just of recent that I started getting like 1 or 2 gigs at churches for programs, and they pay me to play guitar there. And I play in my own personal church too. But my mom, before I came, she was urging me to learn how to barb, like cut hair before I came. But at the time, I was still learning how to play guitar. So I couldn't really be bothered to do 2 things at once while also working at the company. So I said no to the barbing hair training. So, but now coming here, if you learn how to, cutting hair here is very expensive. Like, it, if I cut my hair and I get like my beard shaved too, it's altogether, it comes up to $40, $41. So that is why you see many Nigerians, they start plaiting their hair. Like me, I didn't used to plait my hair in Nigeria, but as I came here, I know people in church that can plait for a relatively cheaper price, and that's because they knew how to do it from Nigeria, and they're using it as a side hustle. So if you want to plait your hair in a professional salon, if you want to do like the twist that I have right now, it will range from $75 to $100 at least. But for me, because I know somebody that knows how to do it, and she's using it as a side hustle, she did it for me for just $50. So yeah, learn a skill before you come here. Any skill that you feel like, oh, it can help you get a little bit more income every month to help you, to support you. Just learn that and come here, find an opportunity and take advantage of it.
Thank you very much for all that. So I'm just going to close this session by asking you to, maybe in 1 or 2 sentences, any practical advice or insights to share with prospective international students on how to navigate their own study abroad experiences, or as they plan, anything, just a word, then we move on to question and answer. Thank you.
All I will say is don't rush into things. It's good to plan ahead, but I know many people that they want to get everything done fast. Okay, they come the next month now, they'll start to think about PR and everything. Like, you came on a study permit. First of all, get through that, get through your postgraduate work permit, and know that okay, you're already making money, you have the work experience, and then yes, let that permanent residence be at the back of your mind, but focus on what's at hand, the task at hand, and don't rush into things that are yet to come. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Gideon. We appreciate your time. I know you're supposed